to talk to you about making fresh juice at home. It's a great thing to get into, to learn how to do this. So whether you're a juice bar aficionado who's just all hooked on the green juice and all that kind of thing, or you have never done it in your life, I've got two great methods here. And I've done a lot of investigation into juice because I am the author of Juice It, which is all about how to make juice in a juicer. And then I also did this book, 300 Best Blender Recipes to Make in your Vitamix. And this one, I make juice in the blender. So you see where I'm going here. Juicer, blender, juicer, blender. Now this book has something where you do the blender as well. So these are the two schools of thought on juicing. Juice is a wonderful and healthy beverage, first of all. So when you use an extracting juicer, which is what this is, it's a haram, and this is a cold press or extracting juicer. And what it does is you push the vegetables in here and they get squeezed, pushed through this auger, which then takes the juice out one side and the pulp out the other, which I'll show you in a minute. The pulp is the fiber. So in this, you take the fiber out, which saves you all the chewing, right? But you get all the nutrients that were in the vegetables and fruit. So instead of eating a whole kale salad, you can honestly drink, a quarter cup, half a cup of kale juice and get the nutrition from that. So it's all up to what you're looking for. So then in this, we will do a whole juice. Now, there are the people who say that if you take the fiber out, you've ruined it. You've got to have all the fiber in the juice, otherwise it's just pure sugar. And I think there's two different ways of looking at that. One is, I eat plenty of fiber. I hope you do too. I know that I get lots and lots of fiber. I eat lots of vegetables. I eat whole grains. So for me, drinking a juice that's been extracted and had the fiber taken out, it's like taking a multivitamin, honestly. So I can get all this kale nutrition in a glass of juice and then go ahead and eat some kale later at dinner, but it's like extra nutrients. Then in the blender, you can use the whole vegetables and fruit, and maybe it'll keep you fuller longer. Maybe you'll feel a little bit more like you're getting all your fiber. And again, if you want the fiber, absolutely great. It also uses fewer vegetables because you're using the whole vegetable. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is how we juice in the cold press juicer. So in this one, I'm going to make you a really fabulous juice. This one's called Warrior's Blood. Now I've got 4 cups of watermelon, and I'm going to cut up some beets, and you don't really have to do a whole lot to them because the machine is going to take care of it. So you just kind of lop those guys. Now the great thing, the reason I call this Warrior's Blood, is incredibly rich in dietary nitrates. And what those are going to do are they're going to turn into nitric oxide in the body, which relaxes and dilates the circulatory system. So it actually is a performance enhancing food for competitive athletes. So people in the Olympic Village, drink all this beet juice because it actually makes it a little bit faster. Same thing with watermelon. It is also very, very good for the circulatory system. And it has a chemical in it called lycopene, which is very good for your eyesight. It has something called citrulline, which is also very good for your circulatory system and helps with all this stuff that's going on with your blood, and anti-inflammatory. And I'm really into anti-inflammatory foods these days so I can keep on moving, right? As I want my joints and everything to be working really well. So I'm going to just do some ginger because that's also very anti-inflammatory. So I've got some sliced ginger I'm going to throw in there, and some watermelon and some beets. So I'll turn it on. You can see I can just drop it in there. Now Now, a note is if you're doing a drier, slightly drier vegetable, like beets or like the kale, you want to do it with a wetter vegetable and alternate between the wetter and the drier vegetable. Then I'm going to put in some ginger and watermelon. So it's just good to alternate between them so you get a nice flow going with your juicer. And the watermelon juices really easily. And so you can see the great thing about this juicer is it doesn't put out a ton of pulp. It's really quite good at pressing all the fluids out of the vegetables and fruit. So it's a very efficient way to juice. So here we go. I have got quite a batch of juice there. And it's sort of boring to watch the juicer run. A great thing to know about juicing is that you can then run some water through, and the water will rinse it out a little bit before you start your next juice. So look at that, all that fabulous beets and watermelon and ginger. So delicious. So delicious and fantastic. And so I'm going to make a second juice as long as I've got this thing going. And this is going to be a very easy juice. I'm just going to put in some apple. And I'm going to put in some kale from my garden, because I grow a garden just for juicing. Every summer I like to just grow some kale. I grow kale and beets and carrots, and I juice them, and it's just a fabulous way to enjoy my juicer. So I'm just going to do a quick example of that. Now if you wanted, you could throw some carrots in there. You could throw in the greens from the beets. And you see, it doesn't take a whole lot of kale to make with just enough juice to make this thing nice and juicy. And there we have a very simple green juice. You could throw a little lemon in there, a little ginger, all those sorts of things. And you can see it's a little bit murkier, but it's absolutely delicious. Yum, 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 yum. So now I'll show you how to make whole juice in the blender. This is just going to take a second. So this one, I've got an orange, a whole orange with all the fiber and all the ingredients of the orange. And I'm going to put in a cup of kombucha. Now that's because the vegetables don't have a ton of fiber in them. They have so much fiber. Because the vegetables have so much fiber, you want to give it some liquid to make it drinkable. So I put in some ginger, and now I'm going to just blend this. Now the important thing to know on the Vitamix is that you've got a variable speed, so start on low, make sure it's on variable, and then turn it on, and then turn it up. So here we have a green whole juice done in the Vitamix. And this one has orange as well as, again, kombucha, which we're all drinking a lot of kombucha these days to make sure we're repopulating the microbiome every time we knock it out. So I'm going to give a little sip on this. So delicious. So these are the two ways that you can juice. Pulp extracting, and so then you get this pulp, and in my juice book I actually have recipes where you can bake bars or muffins with the leftover pulp, or you can just, again, throw this in the compost. I know that they love it, and I'm actually told that people I know who keep chickens love this pulp. I'm not sure why it's so appealing, but they do. So here we go. Here's to your health. Keep on juicing, and remember, eat more plants and you'll feel better, and you'll feel better about the planet. Thanks so much for coming to my kitchen for a nice glass of juice.